Hello, everybody, and welcome back. Today, I was sitting down to kind of do a little bit of a video on darker decks to use, seeing that we just had the fall equinox happen, the autumn equinox, and so I happened to fall upon the hashtag decks for the descent, and I figured, well, I might as well do a hashtag video plus what I wanted to do, and it all kind of worked together. And as usual, I have a cat in my face. This is Nova. He'll be with us for a little bit, and then once I start looking through the decks, I'll have to move him out of my way. But yeah, so I figured why not jump on board with this awesome hashtag decks for the descent. I absolutely love it. I really like the wordplay. Let's get into all of these decks that I wanted to look at. The decks that I'm working with right now that are taking me into the descent. I'm not quite into my really dark decks yet. I'm kind of reserve those for October, November, but we're starting. We're starting to get into some of this darker energies. It is a lovely, dark, dreary day out. It's very shadowy. It's very quiet. It's like it wants to rain, but it hasn't quite done it yet. Little sprinkles here and there. So I feel like the energy of today is absolutely perfect for what we're doing. So let's get into these dark decks, or darker decks in my case, and let's see what I got. So right off the get-go, the very first deck that has spoken to me was the Hush Tarot. I like to work with fairy energy during this time of year. Sometimes in the spring, but usually I like to work with my fairy energy in the fall. It's kind of the way it goes, because there's an old folklore that says, like, once that harvest happens and you get to the end, whatever is still on the fields must remain for the fairies. So this is why this is such a huge harvest period, and to hurry up and get everything off. But like I said, once the season changes, I believe, I don't know if it's connected to Samhain. I can't remember exactly. I should have looked it up before I even said anything. I can't remember exactly, but there is a point in time once we hit, I think it's when Samhain hits, that is the last harvest, right? And then that's like anything that's on the fields or out in the land from that point on is not to be touched. It is for the fairies. So that always kind of sticks in my mind. And the Hush Tarot is a wonderful dark Fae deck, and it has been speaking so strongly to me the last week or so. And to be all honest, I have not given this deck a fair chance. Every time I sit down to work with it or to use it, it ends up getting bumped out because of another deck that comes in that I'm more attracted to or whatever. So it is like we are overdue. Me and this deck are overdue working together. And the messages that it was firing off to me last night made me really regret taking such a long time to use this deck and to connect to it. This deck is awesome. And the artwork is it's creepy. It's such beautiful fall colors going into kind of these icy winterscapes almost in a way. And I don't know. I love it. So this deck is like number one with me right now. I'm working every night with it. And yeah, I'm loving it. And like I said, I'm irritated that I took this long to connect into this deck and to use it and to work with it. It's so gothic. I don't know. I love it. And it's the energy that I'm feeling right now, where things are still kind of like, there's still flowering happening. There's still, like in this picture right here, we still have like flowers happening. Still have like these kittens. But then we have this weird, creepy like mask. And it's like summer stepping into that dark energy, right? It's like the first steps on the descent. And this deck can take you like pretty much straight in, right? So This is my number one right now this year. I'm really enjoying my time with it. And it's an amazing deck. I know it's not for everybody. It can be a little complicated. Yeah, I get it, but for an advanced reader, this is a fantastic tarot. I'm loving it. These dark cards with the backgrounds, oh, they're so beautiful. But yeah, all right. So Hush Tarot, number one for me right now. Another one that I've been working with is Tarot of the Abyss. I'm really happy that they changed the cover on this. The newer print has this picture on the cover, and it should have been that way. I'm not sure why they chose this image. Out of this deck, all of the pieces of art in this deck, this one is probably my least favorite. And it's a very strong masculine energy, right? It's the Emperor card. And I feel that this deck, even though it does have male figures in it, I feel that it has no problem going into the dark feminine. And I'm not really sure why they chose that title card. The cover of the box. It's really weird. Backs are awesome. And the line work, the artwork in this deck is amazing. This is such a good deck. It is such a solid reader. And like I said, there are cards that have masculine figures in them, right? So there's a good balance happening here. But I feel like this is a very dark feminine deck. And a lot of, like, the Fool is a woman. There's a lot of feminine energy. So to me, I don't know, this deck is fantastic. I like its messages. I like the way that it reads. It's got a couple extra cards, so you can pick cards that are more aligned with, like, the RW meaning, and then you can pick the cards that are more aligned with numerological, and specifically the Three of Swords, and I believe was it the Ten of Swords? I can't remember. I always forget. I think it's the Ten of Swords and the Three of Swords. I might be wrong on that. There's the Three of Swords. Yeah, I'm sure if I look in the book, it'll tell me. There's extras, which is nice. Yeah, I just saw it. Ten of Swords. So it has alternate cards. So you can pick your Ten of Swords, and you can pick your, I think it's Three of Swords, and I think that's it. I think there's only two. I think there's only two cards that have alternate editions, but either which way it goes, it's super cool. I left all of it together because I figured if I get the one that's more aligned with the numerological, then it's kind of more that energy. If I get the one that's aligned more with the RW, then I got that one, right? So I'm using it all. And, like, look at these strong crones. We've got this Queen of Wands that has a very strong crone look. Look at our Hermit. It's a crone holding a snake. If I can get the focus in. It's beautiful. This deck was probably, honestly, one of my biggest surprises of the year. When I got this deck, I was not expecting for it to be as amazing as it is. And this card right here, the Hanged One, so obviously the Hanged Man. Like, look at how interesting. It's an image of a beautiful day, but it's reversed. So it's all upside down. Like if you were hanging, right? And it's how you're seeing things. Really interesting concept in this deck. I love it. I love the energy. I love the Eight of Wands being the Canadian geese. Flying, amazing. Or I assume it's Canadian geese. Maybe that's like the Canadian. No, those are Canadian geese, 100%. Okay, it's not just me being a weird Canadian, right? And the Lovers being these beautiful intertwined trees. There's a lot of nature in this deck. Like I said, this deck it really surprised me. It wasn't what I was expecting, but pleasantly surprised. So yeah, this deck is one that has been speaking to me, and I plan on using for probably all of September, October, and November is what I will be using this deck for. It has a very, very, very autumn equinox feeling, right? Going into winter. But remember, the winter solstice doesn't happen until late December, right? So this has a very strong autumn equinoxy feeling to me. I might even use it into the new year. I have no idea. I love it. It's a great read. Another one that I've been using is this little oracle right here. This is Nature Nurture by Marcella Kroll, but this is her original. This is the indie edition. This is not, or what I think is the, I mean, I'm pretty sure this is the indie edition. I'm not really sure. Yep, these are the indie editions. This one's from 2017. This is the way Nature Nurture started out looking, and then she always goes and signs up with like these different publishers, which I mean is what everybody's dream is, right? I mean, you don't blame the woman. But they always change her decks so much. And I love the artwork, like Sacred Symbols and this. They should have just blow these cards up bigger, but kept them exactly the same. But for whatever reason, they don't. And then I don't know if it comes down to she owns the rights to these and she doesn't want them to be copied. I have no idea. I do not know why this is. This is a very small deck, as you can see. They're very small cards, and unfortunately, like it would have just been amazing if they just blew them up bigger. You know what I mean? This is such a fantastic deck. It's got gilding, beautiful, beautiful gold gilding. And like I said, it's so fantastic. Good keywords, great artwork. I love this is like one of my most favorite. If I can get my camera to focus in. One of my most favorite cards. And this is like that energy again, right? We're starting to get into like the darker images. We've got the black borders, but we're still experiencing color, right? It's fall. Nature's about to put on its greatest show, and has just started here where I'm at. So I'm still interested in seeing color. You know, I still want. This card's amazing too. I still want color. I still want textures, right? I'm not quite into those washed out bleak colors yet. But yeah, this deck, I love using it at this time of the year. And like I said, such great keywords. If she just kept this deck exactly the same and just blew up the cards to be obviously more like Oracle side, it would have been amazing. But she didn't. She completely, whether it was her choice or the publisher's choice, whoever choice it was, they completely changed it. But yeah, this is a great one. I really enjoy its messages. I love all of Marcella's decks, honestly. They're all fantastic in my opinion. But there are some, like I said, I like more of like the original decks before they've been altered and changed by the publisher or whatever happens there. So this is Nature's Nurtures, the original edition, and I love it. It's a great little deck. This one right here, the Ritual Tarot, I feel we're going to see a lot of this here. The Ritual Tarot has that fall winter energy. That's where it sits for me. It took me a long time to figure out where this deck fits seasonally, or if it just encompassed all the seasons for me. I have the marked backs, which, I mean, I don't know. I don't really look at the backs, but still, the backs are cool as shit. Like, look how cool that is. And it's brilliant the way she hid, the titles of the cards. Love it. I edged mine in black, but I use it a lot, so it's gonna have to be re-edged again soon. I am part of her Kickstarter, The Cave of Sybil. I can't wait to get that. I know she was forecasting in October, and from what I'm understanding from her messages, it looks like it's not going to be arriving till November now. Honestly, it doesn't matter to me either which way. I can't wait to get my hands on that deck. It is such a lovely, like I said earlier in this video, how I'm drawn into the darker energy, the darker cycles, the darker world right now. I'm wearing a lot of black. I'm being called to more of the dark feminine, the dark energies. So that deck is 100% aligned with the changes that have come into place for me this year. And I can't wait to work with it. But this has always been one of my favorites. I will always complain about the price tag it carries. It's a hefty one. I would love to get a backup copy of this deck, but at the price that it's sitting, I will not. I just simply can't justify spending that amount. But money portions aside, this deck is amazing. It is phenomenal. It is so dark feminine and beautiful. Look at this Queen of Pentacles, right? Ugh. They're such amazing pieces of art, honestly. And if you are having a hard time with the financial aspect of this deck, which is something that I did have difficulties with, look at them as pieces of art. And that's what helped me, is every single one of these cards are a piece of art. And there's some in here that I would literally get blown up and actually put on my wall as art. So it's very surreal, it's very dark, it's very ancient feeling, and it is 100% aligned with the energy that's happening right now. These icy blues, I feel like go right into winter, like it's very wintry colors. But then you have cards like this where I feel like it's like the spectrum of fall, like all of these colors happening, and it's just amazing. So this deck, it is so good. The information that comes forward, the way that it reads, I do. I love, love, love this deck so much. And I get lost in the images. They're fantastic. I mean, everybody's seen this deck a million times now at this point. But at the end of the day, Tara May is crazy good at what she does. And the energies that come forward in this deck is amazing. And that's why when she released her Kickstarter, I was like, yeah, I'm 100% on board with that. This Queen of Swords right here, I just wanted to make sure I had it right. The Queen of Swords, is that ever a snarky, judgmental, bitchy looking Queen of Swords, eh? It is exactly how I like to see my Queen of Swords. That nasty energy. And I don't know, I love it. And when you look at who these characters are and who these people are in these cards, and you read the backgrounds to them, I mean, they're quite amazing. And like, look at these, like, just amazing, 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 amazing. This lust card, like all of it, just fantastic. Sorry, I'm being a little gushy over this, but I absolutely love this deck. High price point or not, I love it. Really, honestly, I do. So yeah, like the Ritual Tarot, I'm sure you'll be seeing a lot of it, especially with her Kickstarter out, or coming soon, I should say. It'll be delivered probably to everybody once November hits. I think she's forecasting mid-November. I think that's where it's moved to. And honestly, it doesn't really matter when it shows up. I'm looking forward to getting the Cave of Sybil, and like I said, I love, 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 love this deck. Me and this deck connected like instantly the minute it showed up. This is another deck I like to work with during this time. There's got to be some tuck boxes. At this point, I think this is the only tuck box I have. Everything else is in in boxes, right? So Edmund Dulac. I love the Edmund Dulac. I have like the John Bauer and the Rackham, right? Oh, I should have put the Rackham in this because I do really like working with the Rackham during this time of the year as well too. The John Bauer doesn't really speak to me, but the Edmund Dulac, I love this deck. This deck is so good. It is such a fall, winter energy. It's elegant, it's luscious, it's just a great one. The images are so beautiful. And just in aligned with this time of year, I feel. And I do. I love it. I love the way that it reads. This is such a great reader. Oh, we're going to get a little bit of sunlight, guys. But yeah, like this is such a great read. I really do enjoy it. It is like an art-based deck, right? And it doesn't have its title, so it is a little bit more of an advanced read. And the images that are in here don't necessarily reflect the RW or what you're expecting to see. So you kind of have to know your tarot to enjoy this, I guess you would say. But I don't know. What's this? Ten of Swords, and they're going after this guy, going to stab him, right? Or and possibly already have. So yeah, kind of. They tried their best, right? They tried to pick stuff that aligns, but you need to know your numbers, and I think that's what turns a lot of people off with this deck, especially when it comes to, I mean, like, obviously these are clear, but when we get to, let me see if I can find, like, when we get to a major, it's just numbers, where if they just put the title down at the bottom, it would have helped a lot of people out. And I feel like this deck would have been a lot more usable at that point for a lot more people. I don't have a hard time. I know my major numbers, right? But I can see why this gives people kind of a hard time when they read it, because you have to really, sometimes you have to kind of think. And the backs are fantastic. Yeah, this is a great one. Edmund Duloc is probably out of those, that little collection there, I think it's my favorite. But like I said, I do really enjoy the Rackham, and I should have grabbed it, but I didn't. And as usual, like, I love a Los Scarbeos tuck box. Like, honestly, who doesn't? I mean, obviously, maybe some people do, right? But like, I love it. I love a Los Scarbeos tuck box. They're just easy to read, usually, right? They're just fun. They're fast. They're easy, and I don't know. I enjoy them. Another little oracle that I usually pull out during this time of year. This is an indie, like, and I really independent. I don't even know if this is available anymore. This is how it arrives. She puts it in like one of these little, I don't know even what you call these, little shiny, scratchy bags that I actually kind of don't like keeping my decks in because it can wreck the corners. This is called the Messenger Cards by Sandra Kuntz. And I believe she's been, I think this is for 2012. Believe is when this was created. Square cards, little weird. Card stock it's okay. It's a little on the cheaper side, but that's all right. Here's the backs, which is kind of weird that the backs are one of the cards. You'll see. It's not the most organized deck, but she's got them numbered. They're easy to find in the book, and they're beautiful pieces of her artwork. And I don't know, I like them. There's a lot of birds, but there's a little bit of everything, right? And they're beautiful. See, all the woodpeckers are coming into our yard right now for our giant mullein. So that's really cool. And we kind of get repeating energies a little bit. Like we see quite a few crows or ravens. We see a few dragonflies. We see a few different butterflies. This is a great spider card. I love it. I love spiders. We've got buffalo. We've got kind of like another butterfly happening, another kind of crow energy. She's got the swifts, and some of them are really like kind of sketchy and very minimal. And then there's other ones that have like crazy movement and color to them, but they're all very beautiful. And I like this deck. I do enjoy it. I had it up for sale for a little bit, and I was gonna totally move it on, and then I kind of started working with it a little bit because it had been here, and nobody was really stepping up to take it, and I was kind of like, well, you know, it's a shame that it's just sitting there, and I didn't really give it an honest chance. So I pulled it down and I started working with it. And then I was like, you know what? It's staying with me. Totally staying with me. Look how beautiful that is. And like I said, we have a little bit of reoccurring animal energy, but I don't know. I don't mind. They're beautiful. And seeing this is the one where the back, it's the same. So it's a little strange, but it is what it is. And these line work ones are really interesting. Very minimal. And then she has ones that look like stained, like this one here, if I can get my camera to focus in. They look like stained glass. Absolutely beautiful. But this is very fall energy, and I don't know, I really like it. I don't know if this is still available or if it's out of print. Look at this bear card. My spirit animal is bear. It's my totem. He's the big brown bear. So when I see this card, I'm just like, yes. There's me. When I go into animal energy and I journey in animal form, I'm always a big brown bear. And I just want to eat like berries and like hang out and do nothing. It's really weird, but that's when I do animal journeys. That's what happens. All right. So yeah, like I said, I do not know if this is still in print or not, but it's on Etsy, I believe. She's got it on Etsy. Strokesofsoul.com. There we go. And there's her website if this speaks to somebody out there. This is a very, very little indie deck. And it's cute. I like it. Like I said, I like its readings. And it's very much this time of the year energy going into winter. And last but not least, I love working with MJ's decks during this time of year. Like my absolute favorite. All of her decks have a very fall winter feel to me. They're all kind of like darker backgrounds and whatnot. I have her Grimulkin, this one, Urban Crows, and for Hexa. And I have like the Guardians of the Night and the Liminal, whichever, I forget what it's called, something in the Liminal. I can't remember, something about Liminal. And then there's the Raven's Dream. Those are all on my list to get eventually, but just haven't, right? But I kind of been feeling old school and I wanted to go back to what started it all, and that is the original Crow. So this deck has been speaking to me. I keep looking at it and I decided I was going to pull it out and work with it. And I'm just going back to the original, right back to the roots. And this is what started it all for her, I believe. And I love it. It's such a great deck. And it has amazing fall winter energy. It's the perfect deck for the descent, honestly, to tell you the truth. It's such good artwork, eh? And her artwork has changed. It's very similar, but it has changed. And this is like an older copy. I've had this in my collection for quite a while. And I do. I like it. I like the way all her decks read. They all have like a little bit of attitude, right? But not mean, by no means. But they have no problems saying what they have to say and telling it like it is, right? No problems at all. But this is a good one. This is an easy read. She did a good job bringing in the elements of the RW, so people have no problems connecting into this and reading it. It's very clear, you know, cups, 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 right? It's all very, very clear. I could see these two being kind of confusing though. But I don't know. It's an OG. It has to be shuffled up a lot better. I just noticed that a lot of it, it's like, it's not shuffled up the greatest. I haven't used it in a long time. So the fact that it's jumping out and calling me, I'm kind of like, I haven't worked with you in like a long time. Long, long, long time. So I'm going with an OG and I'm bringing out the Crow's Tarot and connecting into that because this is a fantastic deck. So those are kind of my decks that I'm starting into the descent with. Obviously, October is more for my really, really, really dark decks, or like my, and when I mean dark decks, I mean creepy decks, as well as my Halloween based decks, right? Like my Sleepy Hollow Tarot. I bring out, I was just looking at them, Shadowland. I like to work with Shadowland during October. I have the Halloween Tarot. I forget what that one it's called, the Jack-o'-lantern Tarot, the obvious very Halloween based decks, right? So I work with those all in October because it's the only time of the year that you really honestly can work with them. So anything that's very Halloween based, very pumpkin based, very obviously October energy, I work with during October. And these ones will kind of go off to the side a little bit. And October, like I said, is strictly for Halloween based decks that I have in my collection. I'm working with, so this time of the year, I always start with Mabon, the Seasons of the Witch Mabon deck, and I kind of go through. I do not have all the Seasons of the Witch, right? I have Mabon, Samhain. Ugh, I have like the winter months ones, but I don't have any of the spring or summer. So I'm trying to figure out if I want to finish the collection and get them all, or if I'm feeling my time with those are done. So my Dewas of Creation has been put away for the first time in probably close to 2 years. It's not far. It's just kind of put away. And I've started doing my daily oracle poll with the Seasons of the Witch. And like I said, right now I'm working with the Mabon. But I have to decide if the Seasons of the Witch decks speak to me and I want to keep them, or if I'm ready to move them on. I actually find their messages, keywords, everything's a little mismashy. I find them a little hard to connect with. So we'll see. I might be moving on all of my Seasons of the Witch. But like I said, I don't have all of them, but I do have, I believe, 4 or 5, I think is where I'm at with them. But who knows? They are really cute art styles. I do like them. They are very folky. But for at the point of my life that I'm in, I find them to kind of be juvenile. So it might be time for me to move them on. We'll see. But anyways, thanks for watching. And I'm wishing everyone a happy autumn and enjoy the changing of colors. Unless you're in the southern hemisphere, then obviously you've got a different season coming in. We're starting to see the beautiful fall color and all of that's coming into place. So I can't wait. I can't wait for boots and sweatshirts and toques. Like, honestly, can't wait. All right. Thanks for watching. If you haven't subscribed already, give me a subscribe, please and thank you. Thumbs up, friendly comments, all of that stuff is much appreciated. And I'll see you guys on the next one. Thanks.